Good morning. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And for 18 years now, we've been sharing this idea of learning how an amortization schedule actually works so that you don't have to pay all of that interest. I don't care what the interest rate is, you have control over the interest cost. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So anybody with a high interest rate auto loan that wants to come to the stage and talk about it today, or you know somebody with a high interest rate auto loan, there are some things to do. Well, I need to be able to share the screen with you this morning so that you can see what it is that we're talking about, because you want to see the numbers. When you see the numbers, it matters. Okay? So I just want to say good morning to everyone first, though. Good morning. All right. I see you, Emil, in here. I see Joyce in here. I haven't seen Joyce in a while. Good morning. Christopher is here. Christopher, why don't you go ahead and cash in that ticket and click on P.I.L.L Method and become a member of this house, so that when you come in, you're always going to get, when you come on Clubhouse, you always get a notification when when this room is open and giving out good information. All right, so go ahead, and if you are watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, go ahead and share this program out to your community. Somebody wants to know this information. All right, so let me see. Emil Nunez, all right, says good morning. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to say good morning to everyone. All right, good morning. There we go. All right, put a little sunshine on it. And good morning to everybody who's watching us online. I'm going to put some numbers on the screen. If you want to see what we're doing, can I get, okay, I got some comments here. I want to get a link for the YouTube channel. Kurt, if I can get that link so I can copy it and put it up, that would be great. And I'm also going to put my link to the top of the page here in Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, you want to see the numbers I'm getting ready to put up. So I'm giving you some time to get to YouTube and then search for P.I.L.L Method. Then when you get there, go ahead also and you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're growing our YouTube channel, and it is growing by leaps and bounds. And I want to thank everybody who is actually subscribing. Let's see, ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com. There we go. So we've got that at the top. All right. And Kurt put the link over here for me. Thank you, sir. All right. We're going to copy the link. Copy link address. We're also going to put it in the chat. All right. There it is. Moving that over there to the chat. That is the link to us on YouTube so that you could see these numbers. All right. So anybody else wanted to say good morning? Good morning. Good morning. We're talking about high interest rates auto loans first of all. All right. So raise your hand if you have any questions or any comments about this subject. So we're going to invite Joyce up to speak. Good morning, Joyce. How are you?
Good morning, Don. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Joyce. It sounds like you're on your way somewhere.
Oh, always on the way somewhere.
Okay.
I don't think I'm ever sitting still.
So
I just wanted to tell those that are new to Don's room. One, he is an amazing friend of mine. Him and his wife have the ideal marriage that we should all strive for, because it's amazing. And the wisdom he imparts and shares so freely is desperately needed. So pull up a chair, ask your questions, and take notes.
thank you, Joyce. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to dive right in, and we're going to put something on the screen. So go to YouTube and log in there. So if you have a secondary device so that you can see what we're talking about, I'm going to go ahead and put a $25,000 auto loan in here. Okay. And let's talk about where we are with these loans. Oftentimes, when people they need a car to get back and forth to work, but their credit score or their credit history is not exactly stellar. Okay. And sometimes you have to go this route to get an auto loan from a lender that takes on high risk loans. The higher the risk they feel, the higher the interest rate. And so here are some of the things that you want to do to keep the price down. All right. Now, what you want to be able to do is get the longest term available, not the shortest. That's the first thing. Write it down. Get the longest term available. And sometimes you can get it up to 72 months. I've never heard of a high interest rate loan that went to 84 months. But I'm telling you, if you can get 84 months, take it hands down. That will give you more options. That will give you more wiggle room. That will keep your payment lower. And it will give you an opportunity to actually do something with this loan to save you money. So, but for the most part, the most you're going to get is 72 months. 72 months. So here's a $25,000 auto loan at a huge 15%. Now the payment is not totally out of whack. It's $528 a month. And here's what you want to do. Do your best. Do your due diligence on the car. Number one, make sure that the car gets checked over by a mechanic that is in good shape, that has good brakes, that the transmission is good, the front end is good. Get everything. Do everything you can to make sure that you have a car that's in good shape. Why? Because the payment is already going to be high. You don't already want to walk into having mechanical problems and a high payment. So do your due diligence. Get the car checked out. Get it from a reputable dealer. Okay? And make sure that you do not take anybody's word for how the car is doing or what good shape it's in. Make sure you get it checked out and certified. All right. So once you are sure you've got a good car, all right, it's in good shape. You get the Carfax on it. You do what you can. You do what you need to do to make sure that it's not a car that hasn't come from a flood zone, a car that has some severe problems, and they just made it look good. They detailed it, made it look good. You don't buy a car because it looks good. You buy a car because it is good. Remember that. You don't buy it because it looks good. You buy it because it is good. And if it is good and looks good, that's just a plus. Okay. So now we've got the car and we don't want to walk in immediately to having problems. So you want to get that, that longest term available. Now we're going to take a look at the summary on this loan. Here's the summary. $25,000 loan at 15%. The payment is $528.63, but here is how much interest they want. $13,061 just in interest. You have control over that. Now, let me put it out here. Let me just ask a couple of questions. Is there anybody here? First of all, do you want to pay 15% on an auto loan? And do you want to pay $13,000 interest on a $25,000 loan? Listen, put it in the chat. Okay. Put it in the chat. Yes or no. Yes or no. Okay. Do you want to do that? I need to get some feedback because there's nobody on the stage to talk to me except Joyce. Joyce, you want to pay 15% interest on an auto loan? $13,000 in interest on $25,000. All right. So somebody's Jay Quest says no. Jay Quest says no. All right. An exclamation. Okay. So here's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. What can we do about it? By the time, this is why I say interest rate is a liar. Even though it's 15% interest, they want over half of what you borrowed in interest cost. Okay. That is 52.245%. So it's a 52% loan all day. Because listen, if you borrow just $1 from me, okay, you borrow $1 from me, and I say, pay me back my $1 tomorrow, but give me 50 cents on top. Okay, I want you to give me 50 cents because I gave you the $1 today. When you pay me back $1.50. Folks, I don't care how you slice it. That's 50% interest all day. Does it matter? Does it matter if I call it 15%? Does it matter if I call it 5%? Does it matter if I call it anything else? If I end up paying you 50 cents on $1 on interest. So if you borrow $25,000, the way amortization works, if you pay 15% interest for the entire term, you will return 52.245% of what you borrow. 52% loan all day. Does that make sense to everybody? So here's what we want to prevent. I need a car, but I don't want to pay all of that interest. So we got some people here on Clubhouse. We got some people here on YouTube and Facebook. Let's jump in, everybody. Let's jump in right now. Here's your payment breakdown. $216.13. Going to principal, $312.50. Before we totally understand how we can manipulate the interest cost, let's break this down in other ways. The amortization for a car and a house are the same, but the rules are not the same. The amortization formula is the same, but the rules are not the same. All right. So let's take advantage of the rules before you can do anything else. So I'm going to ask this question. Is it possible? Okay. My minimum payment on this car loan is $528.63. That's the minimum. Is it possible to pay this car off faster with just the minimum payment? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section. Come up to the stage and talk to me. All right. If you're on Clubhouse, is it possible to pay off a car loan faster with just the minimum payment? Yes or no? Or you can just put in Y or N if you just want to abbreviate it. Okay. I'll know what you mean. Come on. Don't be afraid to answer. Can I pay off a car? No. Can I pay off a car earlier with just the minimum payment? Yamil says yes, because he knows me. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Can you pay off a car note faster with just the minimum payment? We're going to talk to you about that in just a second. So when you understand interest cancellation, when you understand it, what you're doing is canceling interest. And the highest form of canceling interest is doing it without adding money to the payment. You don't need to prepay to save money on interest and pay a car off faster with a car loan, because the rules are different. What you want to do first, folks, is ask, can I make weekly payments to this car, and will you apply it to principal and interest? You want to ask that. Write it down. Can I make weekly payments? Now, you don't have to have a high interest loan to do this. You can actually have a lower interest loan and do the same thing. Everything that I'm talking about, you could do with a high interest loan, you could do with a low interest loan, a low interest loan. So I want to get that out of the way. So if I can make payments weekly, here is what it's going to do for me. I'm going to take my 500, let me pull up a calculator here, put that on the screen. I'm going to take my $528.63 and divide it by 4. Okay, that's $132 and let's call it 16 cents. $132.16. So here's what you want to do. If you can make weekly payments, please do. And here's why. You're being charged daily interest on this car loan. Okay, you can break it down by the day. So if we take that 15% loan, okay, we take 15%, 0.15, okay, we take 15% and then divide it by 30, okay, 0.005, okay, 0.005. That's the number that they're using to actually charge you interest daily on the unpaid balance. So if your balance starts out at $25,000, okay, and they're charging you interest daily, that's what it becomes. All right. So you don't want to keep paying them that kind of money daily on the unpaid balance. It's they take that interest, add it to the loan, add it to the loan, add it to the loan. So now what happens is this. Once you complete that cycle and you make your payment, the first payment here, $216.13 goes to principal. You've already racked up $312.50 worth of interest. Okay. $312.50 worth of interest. So because they were able to charge you daily interest on the unpaid balance for an entire month. You see what I'm talking about? So what would happen to my $25,000 if I gave them, all right, let me break that down again. Let me bring up my about $132 weekly. Some of that money would go to principal. If some of that money went to principal this week, do I still owe $25,000? The answer would be no. I owe less than $25,000. So now for the next week, they have to charge me daily interest on a lower amount. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Hold on for just a second. In my office building, it was a little cool that I turned the heater on. So it is now warm in my office, in my studio. And so I could turn the heater off. So now here's what we're doing. We're starting out at 25,000. Okay. And I'm going to give the bank some money. Some money is going to go to principal and some money is going to go to interest. But the amount of money that goes to principal, I'm going to bring down my $25,000 to a lower point after the first week. Now they have to charge me interest on that lower amount for the next week. And then I'm going to give them another payment. All right. Another payment. So let me bring up my calculator again. So I'm going to bring up another payment. So my, let me see, 528.63 divided by 4. Okay. 132.16. I'm going to give them another 132.16. I'm going to keep that up. All right. For 4 weeks. Now, here's the thing. Your fourth payment of $132.16 has to reach your institution on or before the due date. You don't want to be late. So if you do make 4 payments, make sure your 4th payment is at the bank or credit union or whoever you're paying by the due date. So now how can we set that up easily to save me some work? Well, if the note holder is willing to draft your checking account every week, you could do it that way. Or your bank or your credit union would be willing to send an electronic payment to your institution weekly. You can set it up on auto pay. Are you hearing me? Set it up on auto pay. You don't have to think about it. Just make sure that the money is in the bank and that you're paying it weekly. When you do that, okay, when you get your interest calculation and you're paying your $528.63, when you get the bill from the from your, let's say it's from your credit union, more of your money went to principal, less went to interest. So at the end of the day, where the bank wanted to say, oh, when you make that payment, you still owe us $24,783.87. No, I don't. I owe you less than that because more of my regular payment went to principal. So I'm bringing my total amount of money that I'm putting towards the debt. I'm increasing that because I lowered my interest cost by paying weekly. Does that make sense, everybody? So now what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? I'll tell you. When you get your next, and some of you have experienced this, when you get your next statement from your lender, from the credit union or whoever has your loan, they're going to say you don't owe the entire $528.63. You owe something less than that, but don't fall for it. Because you're throwing off their amortization schedule, they're trying to get you back on track so that you can continue to pay them the high interest that they're looking for. So what you're going to do is this. You're going to keep paying the $528.63. You're never going to drop down below that ever. And by paying weekly, you're lowering your interest cost, so more of your $528.63 will actually go to pay down the loan. And every month you do that, you're going to bring that principal down lower and lower and lower. And pretty soon, guess what they'll tell you? You don't owe us a payment this month at all. That's how low it's going to get. Don't fall for that either. Because if you skip that month, you're giving back practically all of the interest you just saved. Don't fall for it. Please don't. How many of you have taken advantage of doing something to prepay your auto loan and you got a statement that says you don't owe us a payment this month? Have you ever gotten that from your lender? All right. Has anybody ever gotten that? Let me see here. Mr. Nunez says, is there a scenario where you can make more than 4 payments per month? Just curious. There is, but it's not necessary. Okay. There is, but it's not necessary. Okay. If you want to do more, then add something to in this case, if you have the money available, instead of just giving the bank $132.16, put a little bit more money with it, even if it's $5 or $10. Okay, put a little bit more money with it each payment, if you can afford it, and then more money goes to principal, bringing down the principal faster. So when the bank does their calculation on how much you owe at the end of the month, then they're going to start your daily interest at a much lower point. But keep this in mind. This does not work on a mortgage. Please don't ask me. I'm going to say it right up front. You can't do this on your mortgage. It doesn't work. Don't try it. Don't try it. Don't try it, because mortgages only accept full payments. Bottom line, you have to make your full payment on the mortgage before you can put it even an extra dime as a prepayment. So, but a car loan is different. A car loan is different. So if you get to the point where you got a get ahead now, how do I know? How did I know that this worked? When I started on this idea of interest cancellation, my wife had a car loan that was about $400 a month. So I started paying it $100 a week. Now, I did not know at the time, I didn't know what was happening. But when we got the next bill back, it says, you don't owe this much, you owe less. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize. And when I called our credit union, no one could really explain to me how much interest I was saving that way or why I was saving interest at all. No one could explain it to me. I mean, no one there could explain this to me. I just kept it up. And pretty soon I started adding a little bit extra to it and started seeing that the amount of that we owe on the car just dropped very quickly. And pretty soon we were 1 month ahead on that car loan. And then we were 2 months ahead. And then we were 3 months ahead. But I kept making the weekly payments. I set it up on auto draft so I didn't have to think about it. And then when we'd get a little raise or something, I would just add it. I said, okay, instead of doing $100, we can do 110. We can do 125. We can do 135. All right. I kept, so somebody on Clubhouse, I'm sorry, on YouTube is asking this question. Good morning. Does this work for credit cards too? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's now the rules are slightly different. Now, even though they charge daily interest on the on an auto loan, your credit card does this based on the average daily balance. The average daily balance. They charge you interest on the average daily balance. So by bringing the balance down throughout the month, you lower your average daily balance, and it does the same thing. But keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, on a credit card, when you do this on a credit card, then your minimum payment will go down. So if that larger payment is already in your budget, don't fall for paying the lesser amount. Keep that larger amount, keep paying that, and you'll knock that credit card off faster. So there are some things that the credit card companies will do. There's some things that your lender who's holding your car note will do. Try to recover that interest. Okay. Now there's somebody there. Believe me, somebody understands this at your lending institution. Somebody understands it. And this is why, and then I believe that's Arch. Listen, ARHC. Okay. I don't know what it stands for, but I'm sure it's a nice organization, but it says, great. Thank you. And thank you. They just called me a genius. Thank you for calling me that. I appreciate that. All right. But I want you to know that the reason why I do what I do and I can see what I see is because I'm on the autism spectrum. They call it autism spectrum disorder, or and some people refer to it as Asperger's. When I see an amortization schedule, I actually see things in pictures and patterns. That's why I see these things this way, and I can try to help you to understand it, even though some people with Asperger's like me find it hard to find their words sometimes. And I used to be a stutterer, when I was younger. But sometimes my the ideas that I get, I have the idea fully formed, but the words to explain the idea aren't always there. But by doing 252 shows, this is show number 252, I get a lot of practice getting the ideas and forming the words. So I'm a lot better at it because you're here listening to me. And I appreciate you for that. By me giving this information to you is actually helping me. So I get excited every time we get to show up and do this. So folks, does this make sense? All right. So to pay, here are the rules. Get the longest term available. All right. See if you can pay weekly at this particular institution. And it would be nice to find that out before you actually sign with them. And if they don't, find one that will, because not every institution's computer or their back end computer system is set up to accept weekly payments. Because the amortization schedule, every time you make a payment, you need a brand new amortization schedule, and the computer creates one on the spot. Okay, creates a brand new amortization schedule on the spot, so that they can charge you a lesser amount of interest the next week, and then an even lesser amount of interest the next week. So you end up paying in this first week, you end up paying less than $312.50 out of your payment. So let's just say you save about $12, and your interest is $300 instead. Where does that $12 go? That $12 goes to principal. It goes to paying down the loan. And you say, Don, it's just $12. Yeah, it's $12 this time. But every time you put more on principal than the schedule was looking for, you're saving time and you're saving interest. Just keep it up. You signed, in this case, a 7-year note. Okay. In this case, you signed something a 6-year note. I'm going to be in this loan for 6 years anyway. So be patient. Watch how it works. It will start to come down, and pretty soon you're going to be 1 month ahead, 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead, 4 months ahead. All right. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I didn't have any audio on Clubhouse. I am so sorry about that. All right. So can you guys hear me now? All right. So we are. So what I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, you can get 1 month ahead. You can get 2 months ahead. You can get 3 months ahead. You can get 4 months ahead. Just keep it up. Be patient. You signed up for 6 years on this loan anyway. So if you sign up for 6 years on the loan, but by employing a strategy like this where you're paying, thank you very much, Quest, for letting me know, where you're paying weekly and you're adding to it, you can literally pay this thing off in about 2 or 3 years instead of 6 by using mainly your minimum payment. Does that make sense, everybody? Let's take a look at this loan from a different perspective. Let's just say you're doing quite well with your income. You're doing well with your income, and you employ this strategy. Do you realize that everything that I've taught about regular applying money to principal works even better when you employ this? So we're taking a look at it. I'm just giving you an example of what would happen if I had an extra. I made my regular payment, but the principal payment for the next month, according to the old amortization schedule, is $218.83. What if I'm doing the rest of this. I'm paying weekly, and I see on the amortization schedule that I would be at $218.83. Okay. So now, and I want to show you guys something. All right. I need to show you this because if you're doing this on your own without the P.I.L.L method, it's a little more difficult. Our program, our opportunity cost calculator does all of the math for you. All right. But if you're not using our system, I'm going to give you some things you can do on your own. Okay. Here you go. So we're going to put a $218.83. What if we were to prepay that? Okay. If we were to prepay that, we'd be paid down to line 2 on the amortization schedule already. And then they'd have to use this number to calculate our next interest payment for the month. Okay. Which would be $307.06. Okay. $307.06. So that's how much interest you would pay. And we could eliminate a whole month just by prepaying $218.83. But look how much interest we save, $309.80. We would save $309.80. Now, what happens? Now, here are the numbers, folks. This amortization schedule only works with these numbers as a principal balance. The 24,783, the 24,565.04. This is how this works because it's according to their plan. What if you disrupt it? What if there's something in between where you are at a position where you owe $24,251? Okay, 24,000. Okay, let me put that in my calculator. 24,000, okay, $251. Okay. By the time it's all said and done, here's how much you actually owe. But you'll know that because on your next statement, you'll get it. It says this is how much you owe, $24,251, because you made extra payments to principal, maybe 2 ways. You put extra money on principal, number 1. You lowered your interest costs throughout the month, number 2, by making weekly payments. And when you were making your weekly payments, you added a little bit of extra money to it each week. All right. So now you owe $24,251. That number does not appear here. Look here. $24,251 does not appear. So what do? Don't go to your bank to try to get a new amortization schedule. Create one yourself. So go to brettwhistle.net. Let me put that in the chat. brettwhissel.net. And there we go, and send it. brettwhissel.net. And you want to go to his amortization schedule. brettwhissel.net. WHISSEL. That's how whistle is spelled. And we're going to copy that. And I'm going to put it in the comment section online as well. So we're going to put it in there. And there you are, brettwhissel.net. So I can literally take this. Let me copy this. Let me duplicate the tab. All right. And now I'm going to put in, I didn't want to duplicate this one. Hold on. I want to duplicate this one. All right. And duplicate this tab. There we go. This is my 15% loan. All right. But my new balance is $24,251. This is exactly what the bank's computer has to do. But if you want to keep up with what's going on, you can do it yourself. All right. As well to check their progress. So 24,251. We're going to put that in as my new balance. Okay. 24,251. All right. I have 15% on my interest rate. That doesn't change. I don't have 72 payments left anymore, so I got to take that out. So that becomes zero. All right. But my payment is still my regular payment. You just want to put in your regular principal payment, not what you're adding to it. Your regular minimum payment is $528.63. And when you hit calculate, it will show how many payments you have left. Not 72 anymore. Now you have 69. You see, you have 69 payments left when the bank wanted you to have you go from 72 to 71 to 70, then to 69. You've knocked out some payments that you'll never have to make. So if you can get it down to 24,251, now you have a brand new amortization schedule, just like this. It's brand new. So if you have a number that is not on their schedule, you can create your new schedule using Brett Whistle. How about that? All right. So does anybody need me to go over that again? How to use Brett Whistle, no matter what your new loan is, your new loan amount, you can go in here and say, okay, I now know how many payments I have left. Okay. So you keep doing that. You keep doing that. And each time you get a new balance, you can go ahead and create your new amortization schedule. And if you wanted to put extra money on principal, you could do it from here. So let's say you got a tax refund or something, and you had an extra $1,145.70. Could you apply that to this auto loan? Could you do that? If you did, you'd be paid down to here, all right, the next month, and you would knock out, okay, all right, you would knock out all the interest payments between line 2 and line 5 on your new amortization schedule, and your next payment would be on line 6 on your new amortization schedule. Does that make sense, everybody? Because you'll be paid down to right here. All right. Now, if you're still paying weekly, you're changing this amortization schedule every single week. You make a weekly payment. All right. But if you ever want to track where you are in the process, get your new balance, no matter what your new balance is. All right. Then put it in here, and you can tell exactly how many payments you have left, and you're going to get months and months and months ahead. All right. Does that make sense? Let's take a look at what we could do with, let me see here. I got 15%. What does 20% look like? 20%, my payment is $598.82. I still have 72 months. But look at my principal payment. It's much smaller. Look at that. If I was going to come up with something that's going to knock out one whole month, I could come up with $185 easier than I can $226.28. Do you see? Every time the interest rate goes up, the principal payment goes down. And it's not that much difference in the payment, but I have $185. My $185 does more work for me. All right. Let me show you what cumulative principal does for an entire year and cumulative interest. Okay, here it is. After 1 year, if I do it the bank's way, I will pay this loan down by $2,397.76. But I'm not saying this is what you need to do. I'm just saying I want you to understand what happens when you take control of giving the bank back their money in your time frame as opposed to theirs. Okay? So don't think that I'm telling you, well, Don, where am I going to get an extra $2,300? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you did do it, here's what would happen. But if you pay it their way, you're giving them $180, $190, $200 every single month, and it adds up to $2,397.76. But by the time you end up that year, you're going to give them $4,788.08 in interest. That's what you're doing, okay, on this high interest loan. So instead of giving them $23.97, if you have it, this is why I'm saying never put a large down payment on a loan. Sometimes you have that down payment. Sometimes you have it. And you're tempted to use that money as a down payment instead of a prepayment. But let's just say you got the whole loan and you had about $2,300 extra, $2,400 extra. Get the loan, and if you put your $2,400 as a prepayment, do you realize you knock off 1 year off this loan and save yourself over $4,400 in interest? Never put a large down payment on your loan. Just don't do it. Okay? Is there any questions about this? So I'm taking a look on Clubhouse. I'm not saying anything. Thank you, Strategic Secrets, watching us on YouTube. Says, always amazed seeing the numbers on the screen. Thank you so much, Strategic Secrets. We appreciate you for being here often and commenting. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, there are several ways to save money and save time. We talked about putting money on your loan weekly. We talked about maybe if you're doing it weekly, add a little bit to it. I don't care if it's $5 or $10. Okay, put that on weekly, and it saves you time and saves you interest. And if you want, and by doing that, never put a large down payment on your auto loan. So even if it's an extra $1,000, don't put it as a down payment. Let me show you what even $1,100 would do to this loan. $1,100 prepaid brings you down to here. All right. On this amortization schedule, and your next car payment is already on line 7. Look at that. Just an extra $1,000 that you were going to put as a down payment, but as a prepayment, knocks off 6 payments you never have to make. And look at this. Look at this. Saves you over $2,000 in interest you don't have to pay. $2,000. Now, if you put that down as a down payment, there's no way that $1,000 as a down payment is going to save you $2,000. Besides, putting down an extra $1,000 is only going to lower your car payment by like between $2 and $5. Why would you do that? Use that $1,000 this way. Put it on the car principal. And when you do that, you knock off several months and a ton of interest you don't have to pay. $2,000. How about that? Can I get some people come to the stage to talk about this morning? Steve, how are you doing this morning, man? I see you sneaking in here. All right, Steve just has us in the background. Go ahead, Steve.
I'm in the gym, you know that. I'm getting to it.
Getting to it. All right, man. Thank you for being here this morning. All right.
Yes, sir. Anytime to support you and populate the room. You already know.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Go ahead, folks. Can I get some people to share the room? Go ahead and share the room right now. Get it out there. Invite some people in. All right. Now, here is what you need to always understand when you're talking about these high interest loans. You can control the amount of interest you pay. You don't have to do it their way. Okay. Number one, don't make a large down payment. Use that money as a prepayment. Number two, get the longest term you possibly can. Okay. Number three, find out if you can make weekly payments. All right. Number four, then round up those payments at your earliest opportunity. Number five, set it up on auto pay so you don't have to think about it. Okay. That's 5 things you can do to lower the amount of interest that you pay, even if you don't have a lot of money after you made your car payment. This is something you can do on a limited budget. But what if you don't have a limited budget? Do you realize there are some people out there that make very good money? They just have a credit score that's challenged. What could that person do to save a ton of interest? All right. So there are some things that you can do to save a ton of interest, especially if you have a mortgage and a car payment. So you want to be careful which one you put the money on to save the most interest. So there are things you can do, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to know, do you feel better? Do you feel better if you have a high interest car loan? Do you feel better about the fact that you can take control of these loans more? That you don't have to give the bank all of that money and interest just by simply dividing your payment into 4 and making it weekly and having it withdrawn from your bank account weekly automatically to do auto pay so you don't have to think about it? Man, oh man, we paid off our car 2 years early doing this method. Even before I started formulating the just the basics of the P.I.L.L method. All right, the name hadn't even come to mind. The idea of teaching interest cancellation hadn't come to mind. I was a firefighter for 17 years, ladies and gentlemen, a firefighter for 17 years. And then slowly but surely, by noticing how an amortization schedule actually worked, we started putting these things together for people. And I talked to my wife and she said, you know what? I've been firefighting for 17 years, but I think based on what I've been learning and studying, and God has just been downloading information into my head, I think I want to do this instead and teach people that they're paying way too much money in interest. And as the years gone, so I turned in my resignation and I stopped firefighting 17 years to the day. 17 years to the day. Okay? On my 17th year anniversary, that's when I stopped firefighting and went into this business full time. And as a result, guess what? What came out of that? A book came out of that. Let's put the book on the screen. A book came out of that. A best-selling book on Amazon. A best-selling book on Amazon talking about how we can think about our money differently. Okay? And I'm going to do something special for you all right? Just for today. Anybody who buys the paperback today, all right, and then goes to my Instagram, all right, it's P.I.L.L Method. You can, anytime you want to see it, find me on social media, just search P.I.L.L Method. Go to my Instagram, all right, and upload a picture of your receipt to me, all right? Just message me, DM me, upload a picture of your receipt and your address. Buy the paperback. I will send you a signed copy of my book for free. I'll give you another one that's free. So here's a 2-for-1 deal. Sometimes we do that. We do a 2-for-1 deal. You buy a book from Amazon, and then I send you out one that is signed by me. All right? I will sign it for you. And you'll have one for yourself and you have one to give away. All right? So again, here are the rules. Buy the book. When you buy the book, then get that receipt from Amazon, screenshot it, and then send it to me via Instagram direct message. DM me on my Instagram and send me your address as well. And I will send you another book out signed by me. How about that? So also, if I've said anything in here, that gets you thinking about paying off my car loan or paying off my mortgage or paying off my student loans. Oh, by the way, folks, Sunday's show is already, people are already clamoring to get to Sunday's show. Okay, already. They're signing up in droves to get to Sunday shows because we're going to do an extended version of President Biden's SAVE program on student loan repayment and forgiveness. It's a forgiveness program that is disguised as a payment program. Oh my gosh, you're going to love that show. On Sunday, we're going to be back here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, also Clubhouse, but we're going to be on at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to go over specifics of that plan. Okay, we're going to break it all the way down so that you can so that you can take advantage of it. All right. So don't miss Sunday. So for right now, but if we're saying anything that matters to you about car loans, we can also have information. We also have information about your student loans, your credit cards, your mortgages. How would you like to be completely debt-free? Completely debt-free in an average of 7 to 9 years. Completely. Go to ice10k.com. Go to ice10k.com and request a savings and earnings report. Get a savings and earnings report. Let's put that on the screen. Let's get a savings and earnings report today. All right. And they're free. ice10k.com. Click the button that says get a savings and earnings report. And I'll tell you what you can do to save yourself some time. When you're putting your cell phone number in to confirm, we need to confirm that you're not a robot. Okay. Got to keep bots out of the system. So confirm, make sure there's no spaces in there. We're supplying the +1. So when you put your cell phone number in, make sure you're jamming that cell phone number right up against that 1. No dots, no dashes when you're putting your cell phone number in. No dots, no dashes. Put your cell phone number in, no spaces, okay? And then click confirm. Then our system will send you a code as a text message. Get the code as a text message and then put it back into the website. Then you click that last button that says, yes, I want to save. When you do that, you will be let into our financial form and fill it out. Once you fill it out, someone from my staff usually will give you a call back within 2 business days. Okay. When I do a show, we get inundated with requests. So sometimes it takes us at least 2 business days to get back to you to confirm the information. So when we confirm that information for you, then we can produce a savings and earnings report. You can know the month, day, and year you're debt free and how much interest you could save. If you like what you hear, you can also request a consultation. Our consultations are only $150 for the first hour, $150, but it's guaranteed. What do I mean by that? If you don't feel as if you've gotten $150 worth of good information from us during that session, just let us know and we'll return it to you before we get off the call. All right. So you don't have to worry about losing a dime with us. All right. If you don't like the information, just, you don't pay for it. We'll give it back to you. So anyway, go ahead, get your savings and earnings report today and find out. And most of our clients can get out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. That's your mortgage. That's your student loan. That's your credit cards. That's your car loans. That's everything in about 7 to 9 years. So some people get out of debt before then. We've had clients get out of debt in 6 years, in 5 years, even 4 years. And some take a little bit longer. Some take 10, 11, or 12, but it's still better than 30. So find out what this means for you and your family. Okay. Let's do that today. Now, I also want to encourage you. If you like what you hear, share the room. I need you all to share the YouTube channel with everyone you know. We have over 200, we have 200 and over 250 shows up giving out good information just like this that will keep people engaged and help them to learn a lot faster. We have the book. We have the shows. We have on the YouTube channel. There's a lot of good information out there for people. Okay. And you can also talk one-on-one. You can actually get a one-on-one with me. All right. A one-on-one with me to talk about your individual situations so that we can help you to level up financially. So get your savings and earnings report today. Find out the month, day, and year you could be debt free, and get on the job of handling your finances. You need to know this. This is stuff we should have been taught years ago, but we weren't taught. So do I have any questions about this? All right. Do I have any questions about this at all? All right. So Quest is, listen, Jay Quest, thank you. Jay Quest is got the praise hands going. All right. Thank you very much. We noticed that. I see some new people in the audience on Clubhouse. If you have a red ticket, you're not a member of our house, go ahead and put that at the top of the page so that you can become a member of the house. Do I have any questions about car loans, high interest or otherwise? Do I have any questions about any other kinds of loans? Do I have any questions about mortgages? Do I have any, did I give you enough? Did I give you enough here on about how you can handle these high interest loans? Okay. You don't have to pay all of that interest. You can save a ton. One of the biggest things, I think, is understanding how you, did you know that some of you have actually had a car totaled? Have you ever had a car totaled? Have you ever had a car that was totaled out? It was in an accident, got it totaled. And then you got a check from the insurance company. Steve, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I got a question. So you said about the weekly payments. How does that work? That's something that we got to put that on auto pay too? How does that work?
I put it on auto pay just so it's easy. I don't want to have to make sure that I remember to make that payment every week. So I put it on auto pay, not because it's required. I put it on auto pay because it's easier. Does that help, Steve?
Yes, sir. I was referring to the principal though. You know how they take that out, but then how does that, so you got to put extra in for the principal too? Or you wait and pay the whole payment, then start doing that afterwards?
That's a very good question. Okay. So you don't have to pay extra principal. You don't have to put anything with it. You can get this done. You can get this done with just the minimum payment. So what I was saying is that if my payment is $132, okay? So let me go back to what I was saying before. I've got my payment is $528.63, okay? 528.63 divided by 4, okay, is $132.16. We're going to round it up to 16 cents. So I can send in just the $132.16 every week. I can just do that and still get ahead and still pay my car payment, still pay my car off early. Did you realize that, Steve?
Yes, now I see what you're saying.
Right.
By staggering the payments, it's still effective. I was thinking I had to make something applicable to just the principal on top of my payment.
You don't have to, but you can. I'm just giving people all kinds of options here today. But if all you can do is make your regular car payment, you can take advantage of interest cancellation with just the minimum payment. Just cut it into 4, but make sure that that 4th payment is at the bank on or before your due date. On or before the due date, so that you're never counted late. Okay? Because here's the thing, especially if you have your bank send in the payment, your bank could mess up and you could be counted late because your bank, you set it up, but for some reason your bank didn't get the payment to your auto loan, who was ever holding your loan. Now, here's the best way to do it. If your loan is at the credit union, just keep a checking account at that credit union and let them draft from that. Then you don't have any problems at all. They can draft it from your account at the credit union. If your car loan and your checking account is at the same credit union, then you don't have any problems at all making sure your payment is there on time. Steve, do you have another question?
Nah, that was exactly what I was alluding to. You was reading my mind, man. That's some great stuff. Because I'm at Belco and I had them refinance it so I could do the run a play. So that's it.
All right, man. So that's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Save yourself some time, and you will be amazed at how quickly you will be. You can get ahead on your car payments with just the minimum payment. Just the minimum payment. All right. Anything else from anybody else? Any other questions about this? Because we're going to be back here on Friday. We're going to be back here on Friday talking about how to become a real estate investor on limited funds, a real estate investor with limited funds, and you can make a ton of money by understanding interest cancellation when you are a real estate investor. If you have limited funds, how to become a real estate investor. All right. And save a ton of money on interest because you have rental payments coming in. We're going to show you what you need to do to break down those rental payments so that you can not only make money on the front end by renting the property correctly, you can make money on the back end by cutting your interest costs by 50 to 75% so that you get your equity faster and cheaper. And you can cash out of that thing 10 to 15 years sooner. We're going to be talking about that on Friday. If you're a real estate investor, you want to understand how the P.I.L.L method can help you to do all of this faster and cheaper. Okay? All righty. So, folks, listen, this is, unless you have any questions, this is actually going to be a short show, but I hope. But now I'll stay here as long as I need to answer any questions. But this whole idea of paying off the car early with just the minimum payment, I think stands on its own. But if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer them. All right. Rachel Evans says, can you repeat what you just spoke about? Payment. I missed some. Okay. Rachel, not a problem. Okay. Are you talking about, can you come to the stage? All right. Are you in a position where you can't? I'm going to invite you, but if you can come, we can talk about it and I can talk about exactly what you want to talk about. All right. So let me invite you to speak. If you can, come up to the stage. If not, there you go. Miss Rachel, talk to me this morning. What do you want to know in particular? Click that microphone in the lower right-hand corner. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. Quick question. I'm just kind of asking for someone else too. About, I don't have a car payment. I bought a car straight out cash. I didn't want the car payments.
Okay.
But my daughter just bought a car and just trying to help her out with I know sometimes she just can't do anything but the minimum payments.
Yes.
So how did you say about breaking that down so that way it wouldn't be a problem with the interest and all that? Is that what you were saying?
Rachel.
Like
Yes, that's what I was saying. I'm so glad you asked that question. All right. And I see Kurt Nugent is getting ready to get in here. I need you. Listen, he's in his studio. We're going to have him come in here and talk to us today as well. So, Rachel, here's what I was saying. In this case, we have a car payment of $528.63. You follow so far? Okay. It's a high interest rate loan, but if we divide it by 4, it comes to $132.16. $132.16. Because we're charged interest daily, okay, then if I pay weekly, then some of my money will go to principal. And so even though they charge me at a certain amount in the first week, when I give them the money, I lower how much I owe now. So the second week, they can't charge me as much interest because I don't owe as much. So as they start to charge me in the second week, I pay less interest. And in the third week, I pay even less interest. And the fourth week, I pay even less interest. So if my total payment is $528.63, okay, $528.63, more of my money is going to go to principal, less goes to interest. So in this first month, I got $312.50 that goes to interest. But what if by paying weekly, I only have about $300 going to interest? Where does that $12.50 go? It goes to the principal. It goes to pay down the loan. So instead of $216 and going to principal, I have about $231 going to principal out of the same payment. Rachel, does that make sense?
Yeah. So what you're saying is just by paying it weekly, puts you in a better position than paying it on a monthly basis.
Most definitely. All right. But it doesn't work for mortgages, but it will work for your car loan if they will accept weekly payments. Not everybody's software is set up for that.
I got you. Okay, I would have to check with her to see if that's feasible or not.
Right. And when you're on that system, what you're going to do is make sure that your fourth payment reaches the bank or your lending institution on or before your due date. Okay.
Got it. That makes a whole lot of sense. Thanks for your education. I love it.
I am so glad you're getting something out of this. All right. Do you have any other questions for me this morning?
I think that's all I have. I mean, my next step is I haven't bought a house in probably over 5 years or longer.
Mm-hmm.
I just my kids didn't want my house, so I got rid of it, sold it, moved on, and maybe in the next few years, I'll probably be thinking on maybe buying a house in the next maybe 2 or 3 years.
Well, listen, whenever you're ready, go ahead and contact us and we'll help you with that. We had a client not too long ago that had the same aspiration in about 3 years. And I said, well, why are you waiting 3 years? And they told me their reasons. And I said, you know what? Those reasons aren't a reason to wait. So just giving them a little bit of advice, they went ahead and got pre-approved and they were in their home in 3 months instead of 3 years. So whenever you're ready, touch base with us. We'll help you. My business card is at the top of the page, ice10k.com, ice10k.com. Put that in your phone and save it to your contacts. So you'll have our information there at all times. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Does anybody else have a question or comment this morning? Any other questions or comments on the issue? I have Kirk Nugent here. Kurt, when you're available, will you just open up your mic and say hello to the folks?
Hey, man.
Hey.
What's going on?
Listen.
Always good to come on the show, man. I was like, man, let me turn on my camera real quick. Actually, just testing out my my phone. This is my phone today, Doc.
You got what now?
This is my phone. I'm using my phone as a webcam.
No.
Yeah, my phone is a webcam, man.
Listen, man, you're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, this is actually working out really good. I didn't think it would look this good, but man, this is crazy. It's my iPhone as a webcam. They did an update
Mhm.
to your iPhone when if you have the latest version of Mac OS, and if you have the latest version of course of iOS on your phone, they have this thing called continuity camera,
Yes.
and it allows you to just select your phone as a webcam. So I just selected it a second ago, and it came. It looks great. It looks great. So
Just
I'm excited about that.
listen. I'm glad you debuted this on my show.
You gotta
So
love it.
I think you're going to talk about it on your own show too, aren't you?
I'm going. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about it. There's no doubt. I'm going to talk about it. Yeah.
Kurt, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, because I want to tell the folks
Absolutely.
a little bit about you. But go ahead and introduce yourself first.
Absolutely, man. So, fam, my name is Kirk Nugent. I also go by the Geek Speaker Preacher. I believe your live stream is your digital storefront. I'm going to repeat that again. I believe your live stream, like what Don is doing right now, he's streaming to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. He's also streaming to Clubhouse. But I believe your live stream is your digital storefront. Remember back in the day, they used to have, Main Street USA, and all of those stores and shops that were on Main Street. They had a storefront, and sometimes you would put your own stuff in the storefront. So as people were walking by, they would see what you got, and maybe they'd want to come inside. But after a while, some of those storefronts used to rent space to other people so that they could actually put stuff in their storefront because it had so much traffic, so much foot traffic. So your live stream, I want to reiterate, is your digital storefront. It allows people to know what it is you do, allows people to get access to your superpower, your secret sauce. It allows people to know, how can I engage with you in a way that's meaningful and effective? And I believe your live stream is a digital storefront because there's no greater way for people to experience your greatness than for them to see you do it live. Several of you have already come through today and you've asked Don questions. He was not able to prepare for those questions. He was not able to do homework and prep work for those questions. Don answered those questions live. And because he answered those questions live, you are putting him in the category of expert. Am I right? I mean, that's just how it is.
So,
Because
Kurt,
you're saying to yourself,
tell the folks here on Clubhouse why they can't see you. How come they're not seeing you?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So yeah, this is what I do. I work with people like Don to do live streaming. And one of the things we've done with Don's show that was actually a first for me when we started this show, 252 episodes ago, we had to figure out how could we put Clubhouse and StreamYard together. And so what we're doing right now, for those who are on Clubhouse, you're actually hearing me through Don's microphone. And what we did is he has a piece of equipment in his office. I can't tell you all the details, right? We got to save some, but he's got a piece of equipment in his office, and on that piece of equipment, he's got audio routed from his iPad going into that device, and then that comes out on StreamYard. That's how I'm able to hear you on Clubhouse. But we have set up two-way so that I'm able to speak on StreamYard and it goes through that same piece of equipment and out into his iPad, and you're able to hear me on Clubhouse. So we've got two-way audio going back and forth between StreamYard and Clubhouse. And of course, on StreamYard, that's where we're streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. I want to say hi to the 12 of you that are out there today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We always appreciate when people come through. We see your comments as well. And then we have a number of more of you hanging out with us over on Clubhouse. We're excited that we can blend those two audiences together. And of course, for those who are visual learners, Don is just so intentional about making sure you can not only hear him, but you can see the examples. For what Don does, it is absolutely necessary to be able to see the examples. So if you've never actually watched a live show from Don, you might want to, that's what he said earlier. You might want to go over to his YouTube channel or Facebook or whichever, is your social media platform of choice. But you want to check that out, because seeing this thing with your own two eyes, there's a difference there. But yeah, that's why you're able to hear me on Clubhouse and how you're able to hear the Clubhouse folks online.
So, Kurt, listen, man, I want to tell you, folks, this is show number 252 today.
That's it.
Kurt
That's
has
right.
been here from the very beginning. And when
right.
Kurt does his own show, listen, kurtnugent.com/card. All right. Let's go ahead and put that up so that folks can see that, and send me that link so I can put it out on Clubhouse too. So
let me do that right now.
All right. He's gotten me to this point, ladies and gentlemen. And now he's saying, Don, it's time for you to do it like I do it. Do it like
right.
Kurt, listen, Kurt, when he does the show, he does it by himself. He's pushing the buttons. He's doing everything he needs to do. So he just sent me on the private chat his card. Let me get this for you so I can put it out here on Clubhouse. All right. Copy the link. Let's put that link in here into the chat. This is how you can get a hold of Kurt. So he has taught me how to operate in this space, all right, and push the right buttons so that you can see it. I mean, this is television quality, all right. It's online, but it's television studio quality. Everything you see online right here, Kurt helped me to set up. He says, Don, here's what you need. You need this, you need this. Do you see the lights in the background? That's Kurt. See the microphone? That's Kurt. See, do you see the second camera on there? That's Kurt. Kurt's tell us how to set all of this up so we can get the different looks, so we can have the different camera angles. Kurt set it all up for me and then taught me how to use StreamYard to get this information out to you. But Kurt does it all by himself.
That's right.
Okay. He says, Don, from the very beginning, he says, Don, you could do it by yourself too. I said, oh no. I said, oh no, I can't. Listen, I got to watch all these screens. And then when I saw Kurt set up, he's got different screens. He's got different things going on.
Right.
And listen, he's got stuff, boom, 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 boom. And he does it all himself. He says, Don, you could do it too.
Absolutely.
So starting next month, Kurt's kicking me out the nest, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got to fly. He's got to fly.
He can listen, Kurt. Can you teach somebody else how to do this?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, you know, as Don does as well, I practice the same principles on my YouTube channel. That's what I'm primarily focused on. We say that, you know, this is on this channel, we give you the step-by-step guides and practical tutorials for the do-it-yourself video creator that learns visually. And so we want to make sure that you have tools, we have tutorials, we have how-to videos to be able to share with you how to use platforms like StreamYard, which is what Don is using today. One of the, in my opinion, one of the most intuitive, user-friendly, they've intentionally kept it simple, platforms out there. I think streaming with StreamYard is easier than streaming with your phone, to be honest with you. So definitely something that we want to make sure people are able to utilize and they're able to do what they need to do with. Yeah.
Let's break down some of the things we have on the screen right now, because right now I can see. Can the people who are watching this, can they see the live clock in red up above? Can they see that? Can they see that?
They can't. No, they can't see that.
That's just for me. Okay.
That's just for us. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. And they can't see how many are watching either. Yeah.
Okay, but they can see the logo and pay off your mortgage in 7 years. I mean, this is all created in the background that we can have this up here. The crawl across the screen, all of those things. And Kurt he's not in my studio.
No, I am not.
He's here. He's here in Huntsville, but he's way across town.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. You as long as, I mean, this is the power of like what I say tier 2, which is web-based streaming, you know, some technical terms there, but it's really just being able to do this online. And the way it works is, you know, Don creates the studio, the stream. I'm able to come in as this producer and basically click the buttons, keep things moving, set up the countdown clock, put graphics on screen. When he calls for it, we have it ready. And that's how we would make it work. And we're excited about this, man. I am excited about what's going to happen next month. I told Don, we talked before the show started today, so I'm excited about what's going to happen next month. Of course, even as you go, you always have a resource in me. You can if you go, give me a call. If you got a big event, stuff like that. I know we did the spiritual money mindset conference last year. If you got big events like that, of course, we would love to work with you again. But just let it, we're not, this is not a severed relationship. This is you graduating, in my opinion. And we're excited about what you're going to do going forward.
Well, listen, man,
and listen, I want to say this as well. There's 15 of you guys watching online, and there's several of you, others of you on Clubhouse. This is show number 252. I don't know how many of you know others who are willing to give up their time, energy, and expertise in such a consistent fashion. I think I have many clients that do this kind of thing, but Don is by far the most consistent, coming up with new ideas and new ways to be able to share what it is he knows can be impactful and will be a blessing to people. I'm talking about completely changing the trajectory of people, of families' lives from a financial perspective. That's the type of information that he's sharing. And I think that is something that we don't honor enough. And so I just wanted to give you your flowers as well, Doc, not just from a technical standpoint, from a streaming standpoint. You have been consistent. You have been laser focused on getting this message out there with the desire that there are people who do not know there's a better way. They do not know that they're being taken advantage of. They have been taught the wrong things. And I want to say this here as well publicly. I am also a client of the P.I.L.L method. So you're stuck with me, Don. You're stuck with me. I'll be calling in we're actually getting ready to make some shifts and some changes. So I'll be calling in for a consult next month, just as we get some other things aligned, and we've got some different, we got more money to work with. So we want to talk with you about some ideas about how we can utilize that and really shift some numbers for ourselves. But I'm saying all that to say it is a mutually beneficial relationship. Don has learned from me how to get this message out there. And I've been intent on working with him behind the scenes because I have not only heard all 252, but I have been benefited from it in that I am also a client. I have my own opportunity cost calculator, and my family and I are looking for about 5 more years to be paid off for all of our stuff. So we're excited about that, man.
Listen, man, we're getting calls all the time, Kurt, about people who are making great strides in their finances because of the show and because of the opportunity cost calculator and becoming P.I.L.L method clients, all from this show. Listen, I want to talk about also that for me, it's not just a business, it's a ministry.
That's it.
It's a ministry. Okay.
That's it.
And can you talk to us a little bit about those who might be interested in not just a business, but you may have an interest in ministry? How what are you doing personally and helping other people to do to help them to promote their ministry online?
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is really what it is. Ministry, a lot of times we feel like the faith-based space has a monopoly on the term ministry. And so sometimes people hear the term ministry and they're immediately turned off. But one of the things I always remind people is if you have lived or have worked or have experience with countries outside of the United States, you'll recognize, I know when we lived in South Africa, my family's from Jamaica, in both of those countries, if you talk about the Department of Education or the Department of Finance or the Department of I don't know, military, or all of those departments, state departments for government in other countries are actually called ministries. The Ministry of Education is what it is in Jamaica. The Ministry of Finance is what it's called in South Africa. And the reason why they use the term ministry is because it simply means this is how they serve. They serve people with expertise in the area of finance. They serve people with the expertise in the area of education. And so once you find the way you serve, you're going to want to, you can easily just right away say, this is also my ministry. And I believe for Don and people like me and several others of you in the chat, this is a calling that has been placed on your life. And if you feel unapologetic about that particular part right there. There's an onus, there's a responsibility you have to be able to share that as far and as wide as possible. And I do not believe there's a better way to do that than online. Don has no idea the impact that these videos have, even while he's asleep, even when he's on vacation. These videos are continuing to do the job, and it's because this is the term I like to use, he has been diligent and he has been a good steward of the information that he has been given. And he's made it available in multiple different capacities and functions and features so that people can get access to it. You don't want to make whatever it is you have hard for people to find. And so I believe online is an exponential opportunity. So I mean, listen, I'll put my QR code back up on the screen for those who have the link in the chat on Clubhouse. One of the things that I like to do is have a quick 15-minute call with folks just to kind of talk through how could you utilize online to get your message out there to a broader audience. I'm telling you, there are people who are waiting for you to make it available in a broader scale for them to be able to be blessed by your ministry, the way you serve. And so if you are interested in just having that quick conversation, again, take a second, go to that card that we put in the chat on Clubhouse, or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. We've also placed it in the chat over on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And then come on through. We'd love to be able to have that conversation with you. These are some of the things that I think are absolutely critical. Not just to say this is a ministry, so it needs to stay in the faith-based space. No, this is how you serve. And just that one little switch in our perspective allows us to recognize this is for a broader audience. In fact, I don't even know who all this is for. So I need to put it out there in a way that allows me to catch the maximum amount of potential possible. So I hope that answers the question, Don. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share that. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, man, because this platform has opened up opportunities for me, but you have been doing this for a while, and it has opened up opportunities for you. Can we talk just a little bit, because is this unique that a church can call you and say, listen, brother, we need you here as a media pastor, a pastor for media? Is that unique in this space?
I think it is unique, man.
Talk about that for a minute.
Absolutely. You know, and again, Don is absolutely correct. It came out of a lot of what I'm doing already online, right? I mentioned to you guys earlier that they call me the geek speaker preacher because I get so passionate about what it is I believe about live streaming, about content creation, and putting your message out there. I really truly believe that your story is written by the finger of God, information, best practices, experiences, lived experiences that others need to hear. And how we steward that story is critical to allowing people to access the resources in those stories and be able to learn from them so that they can make changes for themselves. So the church came and said, hey, man, we love what you're doing. We know that we need this component added to what we do at the church. So a large church here in the city of Huntsville, Don knows it, it's Oakwood University Church. We have over 4,000 or 5,000 people watching online every Sabbath. And I'm working with the team there to create an engaging experience, to really create space for those thousands of people that are watching us online every Saturday, to be able to not only just watch. We don't want it to be a voyeuristic experience. We want them to be fully engaged, want to know their names, right? We just had a baptism this past Sabbath. A lady came in from Miami. She's not moving to Huntsville. She just came to Huntsville to get baptized. And she's going back to Miami, and that is where she will continue to live and be a part of our fellowship here in Huntsville at the Oakwood University Church. I'm saying all that to say, yes, the church saw that need, and they decided we want to bring somebody on who can really help us navigate this space, help us to really leverage the opportunity that is online for the cause of Christ. Now, that's what the church needed, but I still continue to work with, business leaders and entrepreneurs and service providers of all types, coaches, authors, consultants, to be able to get their unique message out there to the group that needs it most. And I love the way that online has really truly made this thing exponentially possible for all of us. So
listen,
yeah.
Kurt, I'm heading out to California, to Santa Ana. All right, going to Santa Ana, and all of that came from my being online, having an online
That's right.
presence.
I love it. I love it.
Getting known. And so I'm heading there for a conference to do some additional networking, and have some folks in here that I recognize that just popped into Clubhouse. Hey, Ciandra, don't think I didn't see you. but
Call them
but
out,
listen,
Don.
but listen. Here's what I'm talking about as far as being on live, Kurt.
Mhm.
We didn't talk about this beforehand.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't talk about this
wasn't
beforehand.
planned. No.
No, it was not. It was. Listen, things like this, when you have the opportunity to talk about things at the spur of the moment that might be interesting to other people. Hi, Lorraine. I see you popping in here. All right, to talk about certain other things that may be related to what you're doing. See, what is related to what we're doing? We're not just giving out information on how to pay off auto loans quicker if you have a high interest auto loan. We talked about that. Okay. Or mortgages, or understanding how the banks have taken advantage of this information. We're talking about how it impacts you in other areas of your life as well. And that could take us off script. Okay. This wasn't the plan, but we can talk about it because it's live. If it was recorded, we would not have that opportunity.
That's really it right there. That's good.
So I love the format. I love the format, Kurt. I love what you've done for us. And listen, I told Kurt, I said, listen, even though I'm getting kicked out of the nest, I'm still going to need some education every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Listen, that is what goes without saying, and that's something we love. And listen, man, I'm going to be checking in on you every now and again. Just jump in the chat. I might drop a little comment here or there. I may even jump on Clubhouse and just come in and see how things are going. But man, I am so excited for you and for this next step coming up next month as you kind of launch out on your own. It's not going to be your first time. We know that you've done this before. But I just want to say this to everybody that's out there. One of the reasons why this works for Don is because his why is not getting popular. His why is not increasing his subscriber count or his followers on Clubhouse. His why is not because he wants to be a household name, even though I do believe he should be. The reason why this works for Don is because his why is I want to get this information out to as many people as possible. I want y'all to know, like, this thing hurts him to know that people are paying too much interest. It is a burden that God has placed on his heart. And that's the reason why you see him show up the way that he does when he's asking you for questions, is because he knows that the questions are out there. He knows he's going to get those questions after the fact. And he also knows that those questions can help others who have the same question, but they're afraid to ask. And so every time you see him live, man, if you can spare a moment, even if you've heard it 20,000 times, like I have, if you can come on and just ask a quick question, say, hey, Don, man, you did this, you shared this with me, this shifted my perspective, this helped me in this way. All of those things are going to add to the sauce, as I like to call it, right? It's going to add to the whole experience and allow for other people to really break through that old mindset and really access this information that's going to really change their lives. That's what I love about this. Yeah.
Thank you, Kurt. Listen, I just want to go back and recap what we talked about today as far as paying off these high interest car loans. Okay, just some things that people can do on their own without the opportunity cost calculator, without being actually one of our clients. There are some things that you can do on your own to save yourself some money. Number one, keep this in mind when you're getting that. If you have to get a high interest car loan, ladies and gentlemen, do what you got to do. Do what you have to do. All right. But ask whoever is your lender, will they accept weekly payments from you? Will they accept weekly payments from you? And then set it up on a weekly payment program. Just take your car payment. In this case, the car payment is $528.63. If we break it down and cut it by 4 divided by 4 is $132.16 a week. Okay, make that payment weekly. Make sure the fourth payment reaches them on or before the due date, and you will not be late. What this will do, it will lower your interest cost. So more of your regular $528 will go to principal, less goes to interest because you're doing this weekly. You can't do this on a mortgage, but you can do it on your car payment. But not every institution is set up to accept weekly payments. So find out ahead of time if they can. Another thing you want to do is get the longest term available. Make sure you get the longest term available. Some people think you need to get the shortest term. No, that is a total mistake. Get the longest term available. That gives you more options. Okay. Then, because if you're going to pay it off early, you're going to pay it off early anyway. So get the longest term available to give you to give you a smaller payment that you can work with. Okay. And so now making weekly payments, you set it up. Now, before you sign that document, some of you may be tempted to take that little cash that you've saved up and put it down as a down payment on the loan. Don't do it. Don't take your cash and put it as a down payment. If you can afford this payment, then take that cash that you have, whether it's $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, whatever you have, put it as a prepayment to the loan. In this case, if I'm making my weekly payments and I can see the amortization schedule, and let's say I have about $2,500 I wanted to put down on this loan, okay, as a down payment. I'm going to hold my $2,500 and I'm going to make a prepayment instead. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to get the loan, and with my first payment, okay, I'm sending in my weekly payments, but I'm going to add additionally $2,500 one time. Okay, this is what it will do. I knock off about 11 payments I never have to make. Look at that. It brings me all the way down to here, where I'm paid down to here. My next payment will be on line 12 of my amortization schedule. I just knocked off 10 payments I never have to make. And save, look at this, by putting this down one time, saves me $3,000. $3,000, ladies and gentlemen, by taking that money and using it as a prepayment instead of a down payment. Okay. And I've knocked almost a whole year off this loan. So there are things you can do even with a high interest rate loan that can save you time and interest. So just by doing that, taking your down payment, putting it as a prepayment, in this case, saves about $3,000 in interest you never have to pay. And I start out here on my second payment would be what I would normally be on line 12 of my amortization schedule. How about that? Okay. So, so we talked about that. What else do you need? If you're making your weekly payments and things start to look good for you, your institution will tell you, because you did that, you don't owe us a payment for the next 11 months. Don't fall for it. You don't owe us a payment for the next 11 months if you give them that kind of money. Why? Because they're trying to recover all the interest you just saved. Keep making your weekly payments no matter what. Okay? No matter what they send you, you don't owe us a payment now. Keep your money. Go spend it on something else. Don't do that. Just keep making your weekly payments and you'll get further and further ahead. And pretty soon they'll tell you you're a year and a half ahead. You're 2 years ahead. You're 3 years ahead, until you pay that thing off in 2 years instead of 6 years, just by making the minimum payment, but you cut it into 4. Let's say you get a raise. You got your weekly payment here. Your weekly payment is $132.16. He says, you know what? I can add another $10 to that. So I can make it $142.16. Very easy to do. Very easy to do. And it saves you interest and it saves you time. ladies and gentlemen, again, your institution is going to call you or send you a notice and say, you don't owe us a payment now, but you need to continue to do that. These are just some of the things you can do with a high interest rate loan. The last thing that I forgot to mention at the top. Oh man, this is so important. Make sure your institution reports your on-time payments, if they can, to all three credit agencies. Okay, all three credit reporting agencies. All right, so or as many as possible, but make sure they're reporting your on-time every time you make an on-time payment, that it's being reported, so that can improve your score, improve your opportunity to get credit in the future. Okay, and also you want to make sure that you don't give back any of the interest that you saved. Okay, once you're paid off, listen, your situation is going to improve. You're going to be feeling good about the fact that, listen, anytime I get a notice that says, you know what, you don't owe a payment, Don. You don't owe us a payment for the next 12 months. Do you know how much pressure that takes off of me? Do you know how much pressure that takes off of you? That you can actually have money in the bank that you don't have to pay, and you're choosing to give the bank back their money in a way that makes it impossible for them to charge you interest. That gives you control. That gives you control. And so, folks, in the last few minutes here, I just want to go over if this information has been good for you today, if you've enjoyed this, all right, if you found it useful, get a savings and earnings report today so that you can know how you can pay off all of your debt in 7 to 9 years, not just your high interest auto loan, but your student loans, your credit cards, your car loans, everything you can pay off in about 7 to 9 years or even before. So go to ice10k.com and get a savings and earnings report. That's number one. Okay. It's free. There's absolutely no reason not to get it. Okay. Get your savings and earnings report today. The next thing you want to do, Kurt, we're going to put on the savings and earnings report. Okay. So get that savings and earnings report. Okay. The next thing we're going to put on is get the book. I offered a benefit today, a free benefit. If you get my book today, all right, if you get my book today, because this whole thing ends at midnight tonight. Okay. Don't send it to me tomorrow. Okay. Send it to me today at midnight tonight, Central Time, to be specific. At midnight tonight, Central, this ends. You buy the paperback book. All right. And DM me on my Instagram, because P.I.L.L Method is easy to find wherever. DM me and screenshot your receipt and send me your address. I will sign a book for you and we'll mail it out. Okay, we'll send it out to you. So then it's a 2-for-1 deal. So you get the book online, and then we'll send you a second book signed by me. So take advantage of that today if you don't already have the book. The other thing you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is become an affiliate. Become an affiliate. If you become an affiliate, you can share the YouTube channel with people. And when you find out that they're interested in what you're talking about, you can hit another button on our card that says, refer a friend. Fill that out. If that person has at least $100,000 in debt and they become a client, all right, if they become a client, then guess what? We will send you a referral fee, $300. I think this is one of the most lucrative referral fees that are out there. So an affiliate program that works like this: send us one in 1 month, $300. Send us a second one, The second one is worth $400. The third one is worth $500. The fourth one is worth $600. Now, all of this is in the same month that they become clients. The fifth one, $1,200. That's a total of $3,000. Now, keep in mind, they have to have at least $100,000 in debt, and they have to become a client. But the way to do that, you don't have to explain anything. You don't have to sell anything. Just point them to the YouTube channel and follow up with them in no more than 48 hours. If they're still interested, send that to them. All right. And then fill out the referral card. It's all on my 10K card, ice10k.com. And we have Ruben Loeing here.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure you catch that. Yeah.
He says, go ahead, Kurt.
No, he wrote that in right when you were talking about the extra book.
Yes.
Or the deal that is just for today. He said he will send it to you. So
okay.
he's a witness that Don is a man of his word.
Yes.
He will send it to you.
Okay, because I've sent Ruben a book. I will send it out. Hey, Ruben. So listen, folks, you will get that book. All right. So I want to make sure that everybody gets everything they need from the show today. Friday coming up. Okay, we're going to be talking about becoming a real estate investor on a limited budget with the P.I.L.L method so that you can make more money. Oh my gosh, you're going to make more money with the P.I.L.L method. All right, as a real estate investor, even if you have a limited budget. But on Sunday is our big show. Our big show on Sunday, Kurt, it's going to be huge. Okay, it's going to be huge. They're already lining up, man. All right. Sharon M. Jones. Look at Sharon and Joe. Don's affiliate program is real. You will get paid. Go ahead, Sharon. Listen, folks, Sharon has been off the chain. I'm trying to listen. She says she's camera shy. I'm trying to get her to come on and talk about the affiliate program. Okay.
Oh man. We got to work on it. Sharon, we got to work on it, man. We got to get you on.
So Sharon, if you don't mind, could you put it in the chat? How much you've been paid already as an affiliate? Go ahead and put that in. If you don't want to talk about it online, go ahead and put it in the comment section. How much have you been paid as an affiliate so far? All right.
It's real, y'all. It's real.
Okay.
17 of you guys on the live right now. It's real. It's real. It's real. That's all I can tell you. It's the affiliate program. It is real.
Listen, and I can't think of a better way. To give back to the community for sharing good information and getting paid. I mean, telling you, listen, you got these. Listen, Kurt, I was at church the other day, and I saw people with Skechers on, and I like Skechers.
Okay.
Listen, man, I had my Skechers on. I had my Skechers on because when I go to the airport, I could just slip in and slip out. All right.
Yeah.
And and they feel good. But people see my Skechers and they want to buy some. But Skechers doesn't send me $1. They don't send me anything.
Not a dime.
Not a dime. Okay?
Not a dime.
Skechers sends me nothing. Right?
Nothing.
But folks, you can tell people about the P.I.L.L method and get paid. All right? Sharon doesn't want to share how much she's received so far, but that's okay because that's private. Okay. She doesn't have to.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to.
Yeah.
All right. So folks, here's what we're talking about so far. So here's what I need you to do. Do all the things that we've talked about. And I want you to know we're going to be back here on Friday talking about, she says, I've been paid 2 different referrals in 2 different months. How about that? There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, she's been paid for 2 referrals that became clients. All right. And Ruben is saying, I used to work for a company that advertised getting completely out of debt, including your mortgage in 5 to 10 years without increasing your monthly payments. I worked out by using a debt roll up. Yep. Okay. Yeah. A debt roll up does work. It's just not efficient. Yeah, it does work, but it's just not efficient. So we want to get you out of debt efficiently with the P.I.L.L method, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead and do that. We're going to be back here Friday with a whole new subject. They're already put up, but on Sunday, we're going to be talking about student loans again and President Biden's new program, right? Now, one program got shut down by Congress. This new program is going to save even more money for individuals. And Kurt, because we did that show, do you know how many people have chimed in and said, thank you for this information? We did not even know it. We did not know this program existed. They lost heart when that first program was shut down. But now they're going to be able to save even more money and time and get more forgiveness with this new program. And I got a call from somebody who watched this. It says, a pastor that says, we actually qualify for zero payment under this new program.
Oh.
And if they were to qualify for zero payment, even for the next 20 years, guess what? Their debt is loan is paid off, completely forgiven, even though they qualify for a zero payment and no more interest. Listen, I want to talk about all of that on Sunday. So, all right. So anyway, folks, we are looking to be back here with you. I want you to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas. And we're going to say goodbye to everybody, but I really do pray and hope that the information you received from us today is beneficial. I will see you all on Friday.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.